fam? What is cracking? Let's see, I'm gonna see if we're actually on here. I just had to set up. I just had to do a whole different setup, so I'm a little discombobulated today, but we shall make it work as always, you know what I mean? If you guys pop in, say something in the chat, because that will let me know you can hear me. That's definitely going to help for today's episode. Let me turn my mic up. Alright. Yeah. Alright. Alright, so I'm live on YouTube. Alright, what's up, guys? Let's see if I'm live on Facebook. Today we're doing Alter Ego. I was supposed to do this last week, but my program that I use, not my program, but I use a third party to stream. So, and we'll get into this later. I'll make a video for anyone who's interested in starting a podcast and doing this. But I stream with OBS Studio. That's what allows me to like basically have my camera, my microphone working. But I use a third party too. It was called Mob Crush, and that's what allows me to actually stream to multiple people, so I can get on YouTube, Facebook, this and that, all at the same time. And anyway, Mob Crush, I don't know what happened to that site. It was a website. I don't know if it crashed. I don't know if they went out of business, but it's not up and popping no more. So I had to figure out another way to do it. That's always something, but it worked out. So the Alter Ego, we're getting into it, but we do have a disclaimer. Look here, go. We do have a disclaimer before I start this rant. That's what this is. A lot of these episodes now are just going to be rants. Like, for one, my life is kind of changing to where I'm not going to have necessarily the time. Like, usually even if I do a rant like this Alter Ego, the thought's been on my mind for 2 weeks now. So I'm processing my ideas, what I'm going to speak on, my talking points for those 2 weeks. So even though it's a rant, it's still a pretty good rant, you know what I mean? But I'm going to have a lot more going on, and I've actually come through a lot of different challenges, so it's going to be a lot easier. I want to focus on that type of stuff, just giving out more tips, more hints on what we can do to make sure we're, showing up as our best selves. We're actually walking the right path, which is whatever we was put here to do. Feel me? Everyone got a different one, so we just want to make sure we're tapping into our ish. So the disclaimer, before we get into tapping into the Alter Ego, I want to teach y'all how it's done. I want to even talk about, and this is all from my perspective, from my experience, just things I've noticed, taken note of, put a pin in it, like, all right, keep that in the back pocket, you know what I mean? So this is based off of me. This ain't necessarily scientifically or theoretically correct, but 9 times out of 10, if you go look it up, and just to make this point, I went to look up just a little bit on the Alter Ego. I knew I was going to give it based off of my perspective anyway, but I did want to look it up, and there wasn't much information on just the Alter Ego. If there is, you're going to probably find it more so on the psychology side, but not really on the end that I'm speaking on it. Corny. But yeah, not the end that I'm speaking on it, right? So, the disclaimer is very important, because before we tap into the Alter Ego, and what am I talking about? It's more so like tapping into your higher power, your higher self, your X factor, that it thing about you that makes you, snap, that thing that makes you pop, that thing that makes people be like, yo, I really bang with that person, they a cool mob, I with them, right? That thing. And not even we'll let me just give examples. The more examples I give, the more you'll get a sense of what I'm talking about. So the reason why I'm giving a disclaimer is you want to be in balance already within yourself before you begin to even tap into this, because this could go all the way left and you could end up becoming a total a-hole. You know what I mean? An a-wipe, and no one wants to bang with you. Or you can take this energy and really be productive with it, become the best version of yourself and assist others if that's what you choose to do. Or everyone's not here. Like for me, that's my thing. That's literally my calling, or a huge part of it is to lead by example. So that's why when I go through things, I'll get on and document the things that I think the collective may need to hear. For someone else, this information, or you becoming the best version of yourself, whatever that means for you, maybe you're just going to affect your household or your family, which is your bloodline, which is still very important. So we want to make sure that before we tap into certain things, certain pieces of knowledge, that we're prepared. Great line. With great power. See, I can sip my tea because y'all already said it. Everyone knows this line. With great power comes great responsibility. So let's make sure whatever we get into in life, we're being responsible with it. And we're also, I did a reading that y'all might want to tap into yesterday on things you need to let go. But the main thing was giving it up. You know what I mean? Understanding that even this knowledge that I got, the reason why I'm able to give it to you is because the Most High bestowed it upon me. So keeping that as well is like the forefront, and understanding why you're here, why you're even being granted the grace to walk this planet and do what you need to do. It's all aligned. So we're not just, not just out here doing it. So period. Let's get into it. This live is going to focus on tapping in on your X factor. So the why. The why is going to be important. When you, or before you even start, before I even tell you about how to do this, we're going to focus on your why. Why are you tapping in? Yeah, why are you tapping in? Example, I'll give you my whys. I'm going to look at them because I wrote them down. So basically, my whys are pretty simple. Breaking generational curses. What we talked about real quick on one of the reasons you may want to do this. So breaking generational curses, whether it be curses of lack, curses of poverty, whatever it is for you, whatever, right? But these are mine. So breaking generational curses, being a light and an example to others, living a happy and prosperous life. Happy and prosperous life. So when you look at my why, you can see it's not ego based. Like my why is not driven or ran by material things. Even if you look at my surroundings, like I don't got much going on in here. Very, very, very minimalist. Not how I've always been at all. Not even that I'm always going to stay this way. But for now, I don't mind being a minimalist at all. Like it's very freeing. And one thing I've been tapping into is my why even more. So before you get into this tapping into your alter ego, you want to have that in check. Because as you do tap into your alter ego and you begin to figure, when Beyonce Sasha Fierce be fiercing. You feel me? Like that's what she do. So you have to be balanced to even exude that type of energy, or you're going to spit it out everywhere, places it don't even need to be. You feel me? So as you're going along your journey, first you're going to write down, I'm going to say this, write down your whys right now. You know what I mean? Write down your whys then, and write them down from a very truthful and honest place, because this is going to actually help you to even see why, or if you're on the right track. Are you Now, of course, we all need bread. We all need money to survive. So I'm not saying that. Anyone who knows me knows that's what I'm about. I like getting money. I know how to get money. I've studied money. So we need bread. But what I'm saying is when you write down your whys, you want to evaluate them once you're done and write them down, like I said, honestly, and see how much of your whys come from a place of materialism and how much of your whys come from a place of just like inner peace and solace, or like more so from that love space. You know what I mean? Now, once you evaluate your whys, you can start to kind of adjust if need be. If you're good, your whys is pretty cool. Then what you're going to be doing is, once you start to put into play the things we're going to talk about, then as you go along, as you start to reach your successes, and we've all reached success in life, you know what I mean? So hopefully we were already doing this, but as you're doing it, you're going to keep your whys, you're going to repeat it. So let's say right now you're in the process of getting a raise at your job. You're bidding for it, but it hasn't come. But you're doing your thing, you're working hard, you have your whys, you know this is something that can help your family. You know, this is something that can definitely change the scope of your generation, because you have a plan on the back end to start a business with it, which is going to be a family business. And then, you know, it's going to bring you peace of mind because you'll no longer have to be worried about bills. Right? So, those are your whys. Now, weeks go by, you're still doing your thing on it. The boss comes in. Okay, the position goes to Cheryl. You know what I mean? Oh, Cheryl's geek. Yo, my God! Goes in the bathroom, cries. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Right? So, Cheryl's happy as hell. But, at that moment, even during the hystericalness, Cheryl got to tap in and be like, all right, first of all, thank you. Second of all, this is the reason. All right, I'm closer to the happiness, the prosperity, my bloodline being freed up. We'll be able to start this business. So just keeping those whys, because those are the things that keep you in line. It's not going to be, yeah, about to get the bag, about to do this, about to go shit on them, about to do this. Look, bang, It's not going to be that. It's going to be more so of an inner peace type of thing that's going on. This is going to be very important for you to remember before you even really start trying to tap into your alter ego. Why? Like I said before, it's what's going to keep you in check. Life is all about checks and balances. And your ego, remember, we're talking about the alter ego. The ego is the number one thing you have to get in check. I'm no longer necessarily going to be just coming on here, even giving speeches like this, or whatever you want to call it, dissertations, whatever this is. No longer really won't be coming on here giving talks like this without a disclaimer. I mean, if you notice, I took a little hiatus from certain topics, certain things, because for one, I wanted to step back and even kind of fill out the energy. Like when you're in the midst of doing things, you're doing it, you're in the midst of doing it. And it's not until you can step away. If I'm in the midst of building a house, that's what I'm doing. It's not until I take some steps back and actually look at what's been done where I can see like, oh, okay, yep, yeah, that's looking good. We're right where we need to be, right? So for one, I had to step away to see that, feel the energy. Is what I'm doing, does it matter? Is it hurting or is it helping the energy? That. So what I've come up with through my evaluation is we need disclaimers. We need disclaimers, and at the end of the day, because I was almost going to be done with it, but at the end of the day, we need the information as well. And those who it's meant for, it will gravitate to. They'll be able to grasp onto it and get what they need to get. With great power comes great responsibility. And for those who maybe latch onto it and don't take heed to the disclaimers and check their egos and make sure they're working on just certain important factors before even embarking on certain things, especially transitions within spirit and like tapping into different energies, even though these energies are within you. So we're going to get into that as well. So those who don't take heed of the disclaimer is going to their journey will be what their journey is as well. So what I've come to notice or realize is, yes, the information needs to get put out there, but I do need to be more concerning, more caring, more disclaimerish with the information, so we all know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? So we all know exactly what the ups and the lows are. Like, I could talk to you about tapping into your alter ego and just be like, yeah, then you do this and you do that, and then half the people or most of the people who end up trying to do it get not messed up in a, but basically they end up getting their bread, they cheating on their wife, they got all the hoes in the world because their ego's not in balance. You feel me? So stuff like that, to where, yeah, you got what you wanted, but you ended up messing up your life because your ego wasn't in check. So I want everyone to get what they're supposed to get what you want out of life, and keep it, and actually be able to be happy with it and say, yeah, we did that. Look, I did this. I built my family. I'm happy. We're chilling over here. That's what it's about. So that's what the disclaimers are about. So now let's get into the alter ego, how to tap into this thing. How it came about, as far as me wanting to even talk about this. And remember, this is Ether's World. We didn't play the theme song today because I didn't set it up, since I had to reset up the platform. And I think I'm going to use my single anyway, and put the theme song on a little bit of break. Use my single for a second. But anyway, the alter ego. Why are we talking about it? This is Ether's World. This is from my perspective. So this is what happened. Nothing too serious at all. What I was, actually, yeah, this is okay. So this is what happened. I went out for a good night, good time. I figured it was going to be a good time. The energy was feeling good. I was feeling good. I was prepping myself. Yeah, I mean, had a little swiggy swag before. Like, all right, because I'm not always in the mood at all to go out. So I got to be like groovy about it. Like, yeah, this is about to be a night. So I was in one of those moods. So anyway, go out. It was karaoke night too. That's a big thing. The more you get to know me, I'm sure I'll be talking more, posting more about karaoke. I'm a karaokeer. Me and my fam, that's what we do. We karaoke to the death of us. To the death of us! So, out at karaoke, and it had been a while. I don't think I went for like maybe a month or so, but I had new songs I wanted to do. Bang. That was already something, because I've been doing the same songs, y'all, for like, I've been karaokeing since like 2000 and maybe like 2013, 2014. I'll say probably like 2014, because I used to live on the street with I live on the street with a bar now, because that's just what I like to do, obviously. But anyway, then I lived on the street with a bar on it, and that's where I, went there one night, seen the dude setting up, like, what is this? Karaoke. And I sat around, stayed, like, karaoke seems pretty fun. I didn't even sing. I was just like, this seems cool. People were enjoying themselves. So anyway, eventually I started singing. And I used to sing with like backup. I used to have the DJ helping me out. And I was only doing Temptations, like Delphonics, like songs I really, really knew well. So I was going in my classics bags, back to the 70s with it. Really a lot of Temptations. A lot of Temptations. It was a lot of Temptations going on. So anyway, from there, years later, moved into another bag, more so into the 90s. Yeah, I mean, my 90s bag with this, which was a nice bag to be in, My songs was nice, but then some things happened in life. Some things transpired in life that made me, almost kind of forced me to switch up my my playlist a bit. So I had like, yeah, I'll say yeah, because I used to sing I Believe I Could Fly. It wasn't a it wasn't a go-to, But it was one of them go to in the cuts. Like if I really needed a song, I couldn't think of nothing to sing. I'm going to, I believe, and not to even say that was first in my mind, but now that I think about it, like, yeah, that would be one of those songs I would go to if I really couldn't think of nothing that might pop up in my head. Now, but with my one DJ, he keeps a list of all my songs, so he would even already had that in his damn computer. Like, oh, you haven't done this in a minute. You know what I mean? Then I used to do that. I can't sleep, baby. I can't think, baby. You know I can't live, baby. Without you in my life, I can't go on, babe. 'Cause this is my soul, baby. I don't wanna do nothing if I, woo, go away, babe. Yeah, so that was what it was. I love doing that shit. So anyway, as we all know, things have gone down in Kellyland. And it wasn't even really that either. Another song I used to sing was this High Five song, which is a classic. Never Should Have Let You Go. Freaking, classic. But the fact is, because I would still sing any of those songs, you know, they're all great karaoke songs. I would still sing any of those songs today, but the fact is, I was singing them for like 5 years. Now, we're talking about the alter ego. This alter ego thing is based upon a spark. And we're talking about, remember, I'm ranting. I'm ranting today, yo. Y'all getting a rant. So, y'all want this is how I talk. So, this is real ether mode. You're in ether's world. So, anyway, when I first started the songs, they were new picks. It was like, and I was moving from the 70s into the 90s. So, I felt the spark. Like, okay, it just felt good. Until 5 years later, I'm still singing the same song. Don't got the same. They don't hit the same. I mean, 5 years later, unless it's like the energy's super, super duper night. Like, it's like there was a moment in time where I could shift the energy in a room or in a bar setting, you know, because it's karaoke. So in a bar setting with even my Mike songs, my Michael Jackson's song. And that's because I know, boys, with Mike, I don't play with Mike. So my one guy, do the Michael. He's like, do the roar. Do the roar. Do the roar. Like, nah, bro, nah. I'm not just going to do him like that. So I can always evoke Mike because I don't play him out like that. I keep Mike in a special tuck. And whenever I want to do it, I can just, do. You know what I mean? And I never do that. I do, damn, I was about to say Smooth Criminal, Man in the Mirror. That's the one I be doing. But anyway, get back to the full story. The alter ego, the songs used to be cracking. Why am I even telling you about all this stuff? For what? Because, like I said, I went out, was invited out to karaoke night. I may even go tonight. I'm not sure though. But was invited out to karaoke night. I had a new bag. Papa got a brand new bag of songs, right? Yes, I like the old school. So, had a brand new bag of songs. I ain't even going to tell you what the songs was, but I moved up. It seems like I be going from 70s, 90s. I'm in the 2000s era now, right? So I was feeling pretty good just about that. Just the energy of me knowing that I got these new songs in my bag. So bang, go out karaoke night, and it went good. I had a really, 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 really fun time. Like, it was fun as hell. Songs was popping. I was happy with my selections. The DJ was happy. I mean, everyone was pretty like, oh, let's go. So at that moment, I was tapping in just like I used to when I had my songs before. Even when I had the Temptation songs, I would be, I mean, I could, do. I know you. So I would still be, even with the older brand of music, I could tap into my alter ego and make it pop and still have a great, great time, just like I just did with the higher years of songs. So it's not the music, it's more so the energy. And when something's played, it's played. It's hard to bring back that energy, right? So why am I saying all this is because the next day when I woke up, I was thinking back on just the experience. Like, and I always, if you go back, and subscribe to the channel, whatever, go through my playlist, but we talked about this before, is really just going through your day, and then the next day or in the nighttime, whatever, when your day is done, really going back and like giving it an overview. How did it go? How do I feel about it? Am I happy with how I handled situations, right? So the next day I woke up, I didn't do it when I got home, I was still saucy. So the next day when I woke up, I already felt good. Like, I already knew, like, and I knew from the night before it was just a fun time. I still had that feeling. And we'll get into that. So from there, I started thinking, like, what is that? What's the feeling? What is that thing that charges me? And why do I have it sometimes? Sometimes I don't. Like I said, it's not the songs, but what is it? And then I started thinking to like just previous times in life. Like, okay, because it's the feeling is actually familiar. And a lot of times, like, for instance, when you feel heartache, we've all felt heartache, so I'll use that as an example. When you feel heartache, the pain, like whatever that inner thing is, you can't describe it, but there's a feeling on the inside of you that you can feel. You feel me? We all know what it is. I don't know if we all feel it exactly the same, because I can't, I can barely describe it for myself, but there's like an inner thing going on, right? And if it's heartbreak, it could be heartbreak from losing a loved one as far as breaking up, or it could be heartbreak from like actually losing a loved one from passing on. But no matter the heartbreak, it could be heartbreak from losing a job that you loved or opportunity. Your heart could be broken or something. You know what I mean? But no matter what the heartbreak is, that's that thing, that feeling is the feeling. Like it could be different. You get what I'm trying to say? We'll explain it more. Don't worry, I got more examples. So, when we're talking about the good feelings, the things where you come alive in life, where you really show up for the occasion, that feeling, there's a thing going on there too. A feeling, a churn, there's some energy going on the inside that always happens as well when you're in that energy. So it's all about basically designating it. So figuring out or diagnosing the energy, like, oh, okay, this energy, which I was able to do that night once I came home, like when I woke up, like, hold on, this energy, I felt this energy before. And then I started going back to all the times I felt it. Oh shit, this is that energy when I was on the hoop court. And I crossed Chicky up and she fell. And then I said, swap, and hit the three. And this is that energy when I won the Black History Bowl. And this is that energy when, just started really like popping up, like all the times I felt this energy. Now, once you can pinpoint it, you know what it is, then you can pull from it. Once you kind of know what it is, where it is, and when you've cultivated it, meaning you can kind of see when the conditions were right for you to cultivate it, what was going on in your life, what was your mental state about. These things are going to be different for everyone. I'm never here to really pacify you. I'm always here so we can open up, just our thinking, basically our faculties, and think a little broader. So I'm not here to necessarily give you the answers, but this should be enough to where you start thinking back, like, when is, like, I do remember that, like, I remember times when I was, like, the first time I probably ever felt this feeling in my life. Let me try to think. First time ever feeling that feeling. I don't know if I could pinpoint it, but I would have to say it would probably have been either doing Michael Jackson, because when I was a kid, my parents, they would have, like, your parents have company, so they would call me down from out my sleep, like, do Michael Jackson, turn that thing, turn the record player on, turn Billie Jean on, and I would be like 4. kicking it. Back, dun, 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 dun. I could never do the moonwalk, but I knew that, yeah, I mean, the pelvis, the turns, I had all that shit down. And then I used to throw like splits into it, half splits. So that would probably be like the first time I tapped into like just something where it's like you're not just being regular Jenny, you're tapping into some extra special gifts that you got going on. Why is this important to do? Why am I even talking about doing this? Because we need to realize, and this is in all facets, a lot of facets, is that it's really kind of our decision how we show up. Now, the thing is, a lot of us haven't sat long enough with ourselves. Like, at the end of the day, what just popped in my head was the game Operation. How the man's on the table and he got all them things going on, and you try to pull the little parts out without hitting it. Like, we have to kind of treat, like, Operation's not no easy game, yo. Even though it's a kid's game, if I try to play Operation right now, it's not easy, like, to do that without. And we kind of do have to, this is why the reflection, Man in the Mirror, is why it's one of my favorite songs, because that reflection time allows us to go back into our lives and just kind of look at it and like do that history. Like, we always are inundated with everyone else's history. Even with me, I'm always posting like clips of famous people, how they made it, this and that. But we have to be as intrigued with ourselves as we may be with other people. So you got to treat yourself like that, as far as getting to know yourself, getting to know exactly what makes you tick. Now, back to the alter ego. There's times in your life where you done did some super stunner type ish, you know what I mean? Where you just really showed out, period. When that happened, there was a certain energy bubbling up inside of you. It has happened more than once, 9 times out of 10. Probably happened a billion times. To be able to kind of pinpoint it, like I said, and then understand what the situation was, the conditions were around it, how your mental was going into the situation. Like, where you obviously anytime that I've ever tapped into that energy, I didn't go in with fear. I literally went in kind of already knowing that's what the end result would be. Like, when I crossed someone up and they fell, right before I crossed them, I looked them in the eye and knew, like, you shouldn't be watching me, right? And I wasn't even no handle person, like, but that's why it would be that special thing, you know what I mean? Where some extra sauce comes out, like, oh, I didn't really know I could do all that, you know what I mean? But, yeah, so at the end of the day, just being able to pinpoint these things so you can recaptivate it. Now, childhood is always a great point, and when we get into the energy, I would want to compare it to, because there's only one other energy. I did this on Spotify. I already talked about this on Spotify, but there's only one other energy that I can compare these things to that I'm talking about. So, because I want you to really understand what I mean when I say that energy that's bubbling up, right? And that thing that I could compare it to is the Christmas spirit. I mean, whether you believe in Christmas, still believe in Santa Claus, whatever, when it's Christmas time and you walk in them stores and you just hear the sleigh bells jingling, ring ting tingling too. Come on, it's lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with you. Doo-doo, doo-doo. Giddy up, giddy up, giddy up, let's go. Just look at the, right? It puts you in it, and I'm not talking about it makes you want to sing. No. Let's go deeper. There is, I don't know. Let me know in the comments, because this is Ether's world, so I could be alone with this. But we all know about, that's why it's called the Christmas spirit for a reason. So it enacts a certain energy on the inside, and most of that energy is not, because realistically Christmas is about capitalism. So we know it ain't that. We know it's not. We know they're just trying to sell us the new PS5, period. So it's not that, but the energy is more so coming from childhood memories, from just all the things we've ever experienced on Christmas, which is usually a great time. You know what I mean? Even if things go super left on Christmas, it's still usually, at least you can sit back and watch your favorite Christmas movie. You feel me? And then think about a Christmas where things were really, really good. You feel me? So it's one of those things. Uh, so when I talk about the alter ego, and I really don't like to call it that. I give certain definitions because I know we can understand and comprehend. But that's why I was saying the X factor too, tapping in just to that X factor part of yourself. And this could be for anything, whether you're going out to get a job. Good example. I remember I was just getting back into school. In fact, this was my was this my first? Yep. This was my first semester back in, well, not even back, going to college. I was going to CCAC. So this was my very first semester. And I was out of school doing my thing. You know what I mean? Making that bread, doing what I had to. But anyway, I was out of school for some time. I graduated in '05. I don't think I got. In fact, I ended up going to school because I got into some really. School was a play for me actually, but that's another story. It was a power move. It was a smart one, but that was a power move like a mug. We'll talk about it though, because I be thinking. I be thinking like, oh, okay, I'm going to school. Yeah, I mean, but that's another episode. I'll write that down. Let me know if y'all even want to hear about it, because I got fun stories. My life has been interesting. Why I went to school. Yeah, because I definitely hopped on that school bandwagon real quick. Got into a bit of some trouble real quick. But I knew I had, yeah, I mean, I got away. But anyway, literally, too. So anyway, it was my first time going to college. But, I don't know, for some reason, I was already... At this point, I was really studying. I think I was only studying religious texts, though. And probably really deep into conspiracy theories, too, at this time. Yeah, because Zeitgeist, y'all ever see Zeitgeist? Still epic. Go watch that. Zeigist. I believe that's how you spell it. Zeitgeist. Zeitgeist. They might, I don't even know if you could say that on the internet for real. But anyway, Zeitgeist is dope. Go watch that. I mean, I think there's more parts too. But anyway, I was into like conspiracies, but I read a lot as far as like religious text, studying that. I was into the Hebrew religion, so that was more so biblical. But I was doing a lot more reading than I had ever done in my life. Like, I was never like a reader in high school. I didn't care about being particularly smart. I already knew I was already kind of naturally smart, so it was never no big deal. I was a C student in school. That was what I strived for. So anyway, if you're a kid out here listening, don't strive for that. You know what I mean? Because that was still, even though I knew I was smart, I had to break down a lot of bad habits as far as like actually going hard. Like, if you're smart, then guess what would happen if you really used your brain? You know what I mean? So if you're a kid out here listening, use your brain, kid. So anyway, as far as going to school goes, I just kind of went in with a confidence, and I think it was like the end of a cycle. I don't know. I knew I had to go in there with confidence, and I knew I was smart. So the main example, English class, we had a presentation to give in this English class. The presentation, what did we pick? Oh yeah, we picked, and this was crazy because we had a group, it was a group presentation. So it was like a group of us, a group of 5. No one's dead, no one's in jail, we all alive. But anyway, it was a group presentation. And everyone, it was like mixed crowd. I think 3 of us was black. 2 were white. I think it was 3 girls and 2 guys, and only one older guy. And then all of us were like around it. I think I was a little older than them too. They were like kind of young. The other 2, they were pretty young, like maybe 20, 21. So kind of fresh out of high school. Still in the know of things. In fact, I think they were fresh out of high school for real. I don't even think they were that old. So anyway, we do the presentation and we're meeting up for these meetings. We're meeting up at the KFC like once a week to get everything in line, and we're talking about, what we're going to talk about. And it was so cool because these people, I didn't pick the topic. It was a presentational English class, so we just really had to pick a topic and speak on it. And we each picked each part that we would break down. So I didn't pick this damn topic, but it was 2012. And they wanted to do a topic on 2012. So our thing was called What's the Hype Around 2012. Now, told y'all, at this particular time, I was already into conspiracy theories heavy. I knew all about the hype around 2012. And that's what I used to do, is just sit down, in my back room where I stayed at, take notes on stuff, research different things. And this was right before the internet, so I was like history channeling it up and having to it was the internet, but it wasn't like YouTube was super crazy with anything you wanted. You really had to find stuff. Like I was listening to like Blog Talk Radio, and like you had to still find radio internet shows to listen to that had this information. It wasn't just out there on YouTube. Like how TikTok now, they're like, the Mayan calendar existed. Like, yeah, I know. I've been knew this. Yeah, which I ain't mad. I'm glad everyone gets to know, but it wasn't like that. It wasn't just average people walking around knowing these things. The shit was definitely it's not now, but a lot of information was more occult back then. Now a lot of this stuff, more the common stuff, is coming to the light. The Mayan calendar ain't no big deal. But anyway, so the topic was the hype around 2012. We're meeting for it every week. And I could tell they actually said something towards maybe as we got closer to the meeting time, like to the actual presentation. They're like, all right, are you sure you're going to be okay? Saying this to me. Like, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be cool. Now, I don't know if they said it or if I knew it. I'm not sure if they said it, but the whole thing is that everyone, even the older guy, they all had like tablets and, whatever their device was. It wasn't cell phones, so it was tablet. Everyone had cell phones, but that wasn't what they were using for the presentation. So they were all on like tablets or laptops. And me, just like you see me with this, like I'm old school, pen, period, Sharpie, pen. Like I'm old school with it, so I wasn't really. And I didn't really think anything of it because, it's like, okay, I'm writing my notes. I got my brain. It's a presentation. We're about to talk anyway. So I knew I didn't need no device. But that did have them a little concerned, especially because it's a group project. So they're like, don't mess our stuff up. And it's not like we really rehearsed. It's not like they knew exactly what I was going to say. But I just told them, like, oh, yeah, what was my part? I think my part, because I still have some of these notes, I broke down the Mayan calendar itself. And I forget, I did a whole bunch of stuff. But anytime I did a college project where I had to write something, I always took my teacher through a deep theoretical journey or so, like where the teacher was like, damn. So I always did I remember I did something on the World Trade Center. No, not the World Trade Center. I'm sorry. On the banking system. And I can't think of the FDIC and the banking system and all. So I always did some deep shit anyway. But anyway, so we all get there, we do our presentation, and they had their it wasn't even a PowerPoint, but I guess I think they did have PowerPoints. That's what it was. So I guess they had their presentation, their slides and everything, and then I did my part. And we got 100-something% because the shit was dope. All of ours, everyone did a great job. But walking into that, long story, I had to know what I brought to the table And it was easy to know because I already was spending years on dedicating my life to looking up just goofy knowledge or just in-depth things. Yeah, I mean, I know a lot about a lot. And at that point, I didn't know as much as I know now, but I knew that. I knew that very well because I was already into the 2012 stuff. So it was just a perfect time, but it was a good example and it was a good time for me to tap in to that alter ego. So this story, why I wanted to use education, is because it's not always about going out and like I rap, so it's not always about giving the best show. Sometimes it's just really about like really showing up at work and how can you cultivate that confidence? How can you cultivate that energy to show up? And the way you're going to be able to do it, even now, like I can look back and think about the surroundings. And one of the things when I go back and think about my situation is, even in that situation, is even when they didn't think that I was going to give a decent presentation because I didn't have like the bells and the whistles of the tech with me, I didn't care about that. I didn't care about any of that. I didn't care if they thought it or not. I just was like, la, 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 la. So for me, I'm more so at my best when I'm very, very carefree. When I'm very, I had this guy I used to work for, an old buddy of mine hooked me up with this job. This was one of my funnest jobs ever. We sold icy cups. And this guy was calling me drunk head gin. And at the time, I didn't really, I was young, so I necessarily didn't like, I kind of got it, because I could see, like, when I was young, I was definitely really like, la, 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 way more carefree, yo. I mean, as you get older, you get knocked around more, so you can't be like that. But anyway, so I did get it, but now, it's like, I used to go through, like, stuff back then, but everything bounced off of me because of that attitude. So I could have been in a crowd of people who was like literally in my face like, you suck, da da da, we hate you, and I still be like, oh well, la la la. So once I even tap into that, like, okay, there's a thing to that, and I can't always go through life with that. And this is not about your alter ego. For one, it's always with you. This isn't something that's never outside of you. That's why you're tapping into it. You don't got to go somewhere and find it. You just have to learn how to tap into it. So it's always within, but that's why the balance is important. To know, like, okay, there's moments where I got to be in that la la la, I don't give a F. That's period. That's really what la 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 is. Fuck yeah. La 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 la. That's what it is. I could care less what y'all think. La 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 la. Period. That's what that is, y'all. So you could be in that, and especially if you've noticed, like, oh, that's the energy where I produce this. And then there's times where you're dealing with your children or your loved ones, and you can't be in la 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 la. No, you cannot. So this is just showing you on how to cultivate it, when to pull certain things out of your trick bag, certain attitudes, certain moods, and knowing that you're in control of this whole thing. It's your life. I mean, don't allow anyone or anything that lets you think you're not in control of how you feel, how you react, how you show up. You're in 100% control. And don't allow yourself to let you feel like you're not in control. A lot of times, anytime that I've made myself feel like I wasn't in control of my life, what I've come to find out is I was almost like, not even almost, I was copping out. Like, I mean, like, I'd rather at that point be like, nah, there's nothing I can do about it. And there's nothing wrong with like throwing your hands up if you need to. Remember, it's all balanced. So sometimes you do need to. But as far as your attitude goes, how you feel, how you show up in the world, that's definitely all up on you. No matter if the world is falling down around you. And this is not for anyone else. This is for you to have inner peace. For you to know, like, all right, I'm good. So tapping into your alter ego is going to help you to basically pull in, tap in, call upon that special X factor whenever you want to, whenever you feel like I need this. I got an interview today. I'm going to need to go in there confident, not go in there like I don't know what the hell I'm doing. You know what I mean? Before doing this, back to the disclaimer, figure out your why. Like I said, be honest. Just write it down off top. You know what I mean? Don't even try to make it so like, oh, I want my why to be pure. No, just write it down. Like, all right, these are my whys. Then look at them and then see, like, all right, are you good with them? Or do you feel like I need to add some more pure whys in there? Like, you know what I mean? Or I need to take away some of these whys. Like, if one of your whys is, I want to shit on Debbie, then you might want to remove that why and add, I want prosperity or something. You feel me? Like, make it more pure. So that's another thing, is making sure that you go into this process already finding your balance, because as you begin to tap in, and you're going to get successes from this, like if you go in using your alter ego to the interview, you're going to get the good job. So you're going to begin to climb. You're going to begin to see, like, okay, this works. I'm going to keep using this damn trick, right? And as it's working, you're going to want to say, or keep in line and know, like, this is why I'm doing it, for these reasons. That's number one. Number two, start to go back. Think about all the times where you've tapped into that X factor, where you felt really, really good. You knew you showed up, showed out. Think about the feeling that was going on at that time. Then think about the conditions that were happening around you and inside of you. How you felt when you were prepping for it, and when you were doing it, how you were received, how the energy was. To pinpoint all of that, and then you can start to basically recreate those situations for yourself. Basically, what you would be doing is reverse engineering. Like, reverse engineering is like knowing what the end goal is, figuring out all the steps to get there, and then starting backwards. So like, if I know I want to become a millionaire, what are the steps to get me to a millionaire? And then once I get to the steps, like, basically I write the steps out. I have to do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, do that, do that. Okay, that's the million. Then I have to start from the bottom of the list and work my way up. So that's what this is going to be about, is you reverse engineering certain situations in your life to recreate. And it's not as hard as it sounds. These are just, I'm trying to give you these examples. It's really not. It's like, okay, if you know you need to be in a good mood before your job interview, because if you're in a bad mood, you don't interact well with people, then make sure you keep yourself in a good mood. Like, if Sarah calls you and you know you and Sarah always bicker, then don't talk to Sarah the night before the job interview, or the day before, or the week before. Like, right now, I'm in the really, like, storing my energy up and making sure it's going to be put where it needs to be put. So I got time to waste it on pettiness. I got time to waste it on arguing. I got only time to put it into positive areas that's going to change in my life, period. So this was the episode on alter egos. I hope you enjoyed it. We almost did a full hour, probably because of that disclaimer, but we're going to be doing more disclaimers, y'all. Got to make sure that we're staying balanced as we go with this. You know what I mean? I don't want to basically lead us down a bad path. So I want to make sure we're all staying balanced as we're learning new tips, new tricks. Make sure the ego staying balanced so we can all walk away being good people. All right? That's period, point blank. That's what it's about. All right, y'all. I appreciate your time. It's your girl, Jen Ether. I'm out. Hey, check out the song, You and I. That's my latest single. Go check that thing out on Spotify. Go watch the lyric video on YouTube, You and I. You and I. Go and make sure you follow me on all your streaming platforms that you listen to. I'll be dropping another song very soon. I'm about to work on some music right now. Right now. And pretty soon I'll be dropping videos where y'all really get to see me in the studio. Like, I dropped a video where you got to see how I kind of freestyle my little songs and my choruses and come up with it, right? But I'm going to put you literally in the studio with me, where you're seeing my screen, my DAW, and you're seeing how I'm mixing and mastering my tracks. You're seeing me lay the song. You're seeing me compress it. You're seeing me put the EQ, the noise gate. You're seeing me bust it down. All that, right? So I got a lot of new content coming. And these are going to turn into more rant styles, where I go based upon life experience, and I give you a Gen Ether world type of perspective rant. So let me know if you enjoyed this style, and I'm out of here. Peace.